Okay, so we also asked participants again to rate their likelihood that they'll obtain their future pet dog from several different sources. These sources included an animal shelter, rescue organisation, council pound, breeder, friend or family member, pet shop and classifieds advertisement. So interestingly, 85% said that they would be likely or very likely to obtain a new pet dog from an animal shelter. 86% indicated they'd be likely or very likely to obtain their new pet dog from a rescue organisation. 65% said they'd be likely or very likely to obtain a new pet dog from a pound, and 40% from a breeder. 54% of the participants said they'd be unlikely and very unlikely to obtain their new pet dog from a friend or family member. And 91% said that they'd be unlikely or very unlikely to obtain their new pet dog from a pet shop. And 64% would be unlikely or very unlikely to obtain their new pet dog from a classifieds or newspaper advertisement. Okay, we also asked them to rate the likelihood that they'd attend obedience training classes with their new pet dog. And this is quite surprising that almost 72% indicated that they would be likely or very likely to do so. Okay, in section C, we asked participants to rate their level of agreement that shelters supply good quality adult dogs and puppies. So as can be seen from figure 4, about 65% either agreed or strongly agreed that shelters supply good quality adult dogs, as shown in the green bars, and 62% agreed or strongly agreed that shelters supply good quality puppies, seen in the blue bars. About a third of the participants neither agreed nor disagreed. We also looked at their level of agreement on a 5-point scale that puppies and adult dogs from shelters often have behaviour problems. So if you look at this figure, figure 5, 1/3 of the participants either agreed or strongly agreed that adult dogs, as shown by the green bars, often have behaviour problems, whereas only 8.5% agreed or strongly agreed that puppies from shelters often have behaviour problems. We also asked their level of agreement that puppies and adult dogs from shelters often have health problems. 53% disagreed or strongly disagreed with regard to adult dogs, and 68% either disagreed or strongly disagreed with regards to puppies. In section D, we asked participants to rate their level of agreement that shelters routinely assess the health and behaviour of dogs prior to making them available for adoption. If you have a look at the figure there, you can see that the large majority of participants agreed or strongly agreed with this. When asked to rate their level of agreement that shelters euthanize dogs that don't pass their health and behavioural assessment, 55% agreed or strongly agreed that shelters do euthanize their dogs that don't pass the behaviour assessment, and that's shown in green. And 44% agreed or strongly agreed that they euthanize dogs that don't pass the health assessment. I'm slowly getting through the graphs. I know there's a lot, sorry. I don't have any pretty video. Participants were also asked to rate their level of agreement that shelters supply dogs suited to modern day living. Almost half of the participants neither agreed nor disagreed with this statement. 10% disagreed or strongly disagreed, and 43% agreed or strongly agreed that shelters do supply dogs suited to modern day living. We also asked participants to rate their level of agreement that it is important that the behaviour of shelter dogs is assessed prior to adoption. And 95% of participants agreed or strongly agreed with this statement, shown in the green bars. Similarly, when asked their level of agreement that it is important that such protocols are scientifically proven to work, almost 3/4 of participants agreed or strongly agreed, and that's shown in the blue bars. We wanted to know how important participants thought it was that shelter dogs were assessed for certain behaviours prior to adoption. And Table 2 shows the importance that these behaviours are assessed as rated by participants on a 5-point scale from extremely unimportant to extremely important. These behaviours included aggression towards people, which was rated as extremely important by nearly 80% of participants, aggression towards other dogs, aggression towards other animals, aggression around food, fear of new things, fear of loud noises, fear of strangers, fear of other dogs, obedience and trainability, lead manners, compliance, reaction to handling, activity level, playfulness, anxiety, reaction to separation, escaping and friendliness. I'm not going to run through all those results. I'll summarise the most important ones at the end, but again, if you want to know more, just come and find me during the break. Okay, so in conclusion, over 70% of participants are likely or very likely to obtain a new pet dog in the future. And surprisingly, only 38% indicated a preference for a puppy, with 28% having no preference and 34% preferring an adult dog. Over 85% of the participants indicated that they are likely or very likely to obtain their new pet dog from a shelter, 86% from a rescue organisation, and 91% of participants said they'd be unlikely or very unlikely to obtain their new pet dog from a pet shop. Almost 95% agreed or strongly agreed that it's important that shelter dogs undergo a behavioural assessment prior to adoption, and almost 75% agreed or strongly agreed that protocols used to assess shelter dog behaviour should be scientifically proven to work. The top 10 behaviours most frequently rated as important or extremely important for inclusion in a shelter dog assessment protocol included aggression towards people, aggression towards other dogs, aggression towards other animals, reaction to handling, aggression around food, friendliness, fear of other dogs, escaping, anxiety, and reaction to separation. Okay, so some of the limitations to this research are that participants were mostly women. So again, we need more men to help us with this research. And the survey was only available to people who had access to the internet. Further analysis of the results will investigate whether certain factors affect people's attitudes towards shelter dogs. So it's hoped that the results of this research, together with the other research I'm doing for my PhD, will help shelters improve the way that dogs are assessed for their suitability as pets. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kate. Before we adjourn for lunch, I just need to recognise the Pet Care Information Advisory Service for generously providing the funds for today's lunch. I hope it's good. We need to return at 1 o'clock, so we've just got slightly over half an hour for lunch. Enjoy your lunch. See you soon.